Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Eric. This is The Road to Freedom. Thanks for joining me. Merry Christmas. All right, so real quick recap. We've talked about how to set and get goals, increase our chances of attain our goals. We talked about emotional control, right? Not only how to recognize, also how to manage and then leverage our emotions, right? Then we went into finances, how to get and confront with that, how to go and start using some of our gifts, right? Then we talked about communication. I kind of got that one a little bit out of order, but basically how to end cycles of communication, how to do it. Could have gone into some other things, like how to control it. A lot of controlling communication, just as a side note. Ask questions. Whoever asks the question owns the communication. And if you ask a question, then you just don't speak. So you say, how are you doing today? Feel that awkwardness, you want to talk, right? That's what you're trying to do. Anyway, moving on. Then we talked about conflict resolution and the probably one of the better ones, forgiveness, right? Because that's important. So anyway, next we're going to move into thoughts. So personally, I was at a sermon and they were talking about, the Christmas Eve thing. And I had like this thought that there's genres and themes of thoughts that may be maladaptive. So I'm like, okay, how do I recognize these and then how do I change them? So what we're going to do is we're going to go into this. This is super important. Why? Check it out. Science, you have to test against this, right? Placebo effect. 4 out of 10 times, whenever I hand you a sugar cube, you're going to get better. It's not because of the drug. It's because of the sugar cube. You believe it, right? So it must be really important. And you can look at history, since human history, like when we went to the historical period, 2500 BC, circa 2500 BC, there's mystic practices, spiritual leaders, what you might call early on scientists, right? All the way up till now, like actual scientists and counselors and all this other stuff, they're all talking about thoughts and how to change them. So it must be pretty significant. Let me give you one example. So it's widely known that anxiety and excitement have the same physiological response. So how do you know the difference? Well, it's what you tell yourself, okay? And here's what's interesting is that if you, in the book Psyched Up, where they talk about rituals and all this other stuff, how to increase your odds of success in activity, they talk about this. So if someone goes in and says, man, I'm anxious, well, they have almost a little short than half the time they're going to lose out just because of that thing, comparatively to someone who has the same physiological response. And they say, oh man, I'm excited, right? So those people, close to 50% of the time, will be likely to succeed just because of that one thought. So look, there's a lot to cover. I don't want to get too much into like the anatomy of a thought or like what is a thought. That's not my place. I'm just another fool who's just doing some work, right? But what we will get into is we have to go back to the internal, external locus of control. We have to realize that we have control of our thoughts. Then we're going to go into, the CBT triangle, Gestalt therapy, cognitive dissonance. We got to go into, because it helped me, maybe it might help you, understanding the anatomy of our neurology, right? So like, how does the prefrontal cortex affect the amygdala? What does the amygdala do? What is that circuitry and how do we hardwire it? Like, how do we hijack that? So we're gonna go into analysis of thoughts, right? Noticing trends, then changing, then reinforcing. So this should be a beast. Hopefully we spend some time here because I still don't know what we're gonna do next. But anyway, questions for you. What is your relationship with thoughts? Are you at peace with them? Do you ruminate? Or are you at war with up here? Next question. What do you want your relationship to be like? Do you want to just stop? If you want to stop, we'll show you. We'll show you how to do that. Mindfulness is a great one. Do you want to be able to use it, right? Or do you want to be able to? There's the two, right? Stop or use. Then, what would that look like for you if you had this either stopping or using or some kind of better relationship with your thoughts? And then what would that do for you? What would that do for your family? What would that do for you at work or your community or your friends? What would that do? Right? So you can see that there may be a big impact with such a small thing. So I hope you enjoy your Christmas. I'll talk to you soon. Hasta.